Hey everybody, it's Thursday, April 9th, 2026. This is Brian at Pray, Trade, Repeat, Pray, Trade, Repeat. Today in the markets, a very interesting day again. You know, Trump's saying there's what is it called? Ceasefire, then no ceasefire, then ceasefire, then no ceasefire. And the new terminology is hashtag clopin. The Strait of Hormuz is clopin. It's closed and open at the same time because every 5 minutes it changes. Well, so once again, I held on to cash today. I didn't make any big moves at all. I just kind of keeping my eye on certain things. You know, I like to get to know a few charts well enough to understand where they're going and watch them for a while, and and then maybe take a position. Today for a second I thought that Laes, or Seals Q, which is a quantum enabled uh, semiconductor company, and basically it's, I don't know if you call it infant, but it's a startup, quantum semiconductors, quantum cryptography, basically the solution to all the cybersecurity issues with the world right now. Now that Google is saying that quantum is going to be able to break encryption on everything from very soon. And this company, Seals Q, Seals, like a seal, Seals Q, letter Q. The ticker symbol is LAES. So it has been working for the past few years now to stockpile lots of money, and they have $525 million in cash to, and they've been, using that money to buy out other companies and partner and to create this. They shoot up SpaceX rockets into space with satellites on them. So they have this constellation of satellites that every couple of months they put another one up there, and their goal is to have an entire constellation of satellites by 2030 that are doing quantum transactions and stuff like that. I don't know. I honestly don't know that much about it. But anyway, why I am looking at the chart? Why? Well, I mean, here's the thing. Here's the nuisance with this stock is that, yeah, it's $525 million in cash. It's got $200 of it, $200 million of it is allocated towards its quantum investments, this quantum war chest, and acquiring and partnering. And the company did $125 million direct registered offering a few weeks ago, right around earnings, and which was a massive offering. So they basically sold $125 million worth of shares to I think one person, maybe a few people. Anyway, and then so along with that comes warrants. They always offer warrants as the sweetener in the deal. So you have the warrants, and then they also have a $100 million at the market. So when you have a $100 million at the market after you just did a $125 million direct registered offering, it kind of sours your entire narrative. So I think we know by now that uh, if you do a direct registered offering at $125 million, you dump. That's a lot of shares to be dumping into the float, right? So you're dumping all these shares, like 20 million shares or whatever it is, and then on top of that, you have $100 million at the market, 100 million ATM. That's what we like to call it in the trading world. So you have $100 million at the market. That's open as well. So that's kind of greedy. So you've already raised $525 million. Your company's in good standing. You have basically a ton of cash, and you have I don't even know what the burn rate is, but they can't even be close to having to have any worries about burn. And the company is continually, if you look at the chart all week long, I'm going to help you identify it. Whenever you see red waterfalls on a chart, there are big red candles and another big red candle down and another big, but they look like literal waterfalls of red, like bloody waterfalls. That's the at the market. That's distribution. I mean, it can be short selling if it's you know minimal, but when you see it every day, when you see it every day, and you see the same structure like that, that is your at the market. That's the company dumping shares into its PR basically. So the company, and this guy's been doing it for a while. When they first came out of the 38-cent range back in last year, was it, or something like that? Maybe in April last year, maybe a little earlier. Maybe I forgot when it was. Anyway, maybe it was before that. But I remember when it was like 38, 40 cents a share, and then it shot up to like $8. And it was over the course of a few. And they would do small raises. They would do small direct offerings or small at the markets, and they would raise the money, and it was sustainable. Now he's doing so much direct. He did a direct register offering, so he's dumping 20 million shares probably at that whatever price that was, at $5 per share that he sold it at, and then he's giving them warrants. I don't even know what the warrants are at. They're like 5, 6, 7, 8. So basically, you got warrants stacked at 5, 6, 7, 8, and what that does is that creates this dilution narrative that if and when the stock does get up to that price range, you're gonna be seeing all the people who hold those warrants are gonna, of course, cash in on them, and that's gonna dump more shares into the float. So you have that. Then you have, here's the biggest problem, is this $100 million at the market that the company has, that they should. And this is really, really harmful to this company. And Carlos, if you're watching, you know better than to do this, because, and this is where you have to. This is where short sellers, people who short the stock, professional traders, start to look at this story of this stock and start to understand that why would Carlos, who knows that all, and this is somebody who knows. This is not like a Joe Latham CEO. This is a guy who knows how PR works. Not like IXHL, like Joe Latham, who doesn't have a clue about which way the wind blows. Carlos knows that if he releases an 8K that says $100 million at the market complete, or $100 million at the market paused or terminated, then the stock will immediately run, because you're taking away now the narrative for the short sellers, right? You're removing this dilution narrative. So he hasn't done that. So what's going to happen is you have short sellers, market makers, basically algorithms. They all know this is a very bearish. Very bearish. It's a downtrend. Not only is it a downtrend, it's a downtrend within a downtrend. If you look at the charts, especially if you look at any of my charts that I post on Stock Twits, you'll see that there's a minimum of two downtrends that are active right now in this stock right now. Had to cut off somebody on Fairfax. So yeah, so I mean, you're looking at a stock that its all-time low, or not all-time low, but its 52-week low was $2.12, $2.12, and I'm sure it ended the day at like $2.10, right? At one point, I bought 1,000 shares and thought that I saw that it was reclaiming VWAP, and I thought they may have paused the at the market and may have used their brains, but of course not. They didn't pause the at the market. It did pop for a second. It reclaimed VWAP, and then they continued to dump more and more and more shares. So that if you start to understand how to